My bruchachos, welcome to yet another video. This time, my friends, we're stepping into the Serious Sam universe. But why? Why are we doing that? Well, because the upcoming Serious Sam Shatterverse currently has a playtest running. And as soon as a new Serious Sam game appears, you already know that this boomer shooter maniac is going to be all over it. But I have been extremely skeptical about this one. Shatterverse is being developed by Behavior Interactive, the studio behind Dead by Daylight, and published by Devolver Digital. And that said, Behavior Interactive has not had anything to do with Serious Sam whatsoever, but the publisher Devolver Digital, I think, are the owners of the IP, and they have had a lot to do with Serious Sam, so they should know what's up. Regardless, after playing this second playtest that is currently running right now, let me cut the bullshit immediately. I think this game is going to flop majorly. Now the playtest itself actually includes quite a lot. There are several biomes, multiple bosses, weapons to unlock, perks, upgrades, and enough content to get a proper good feeling for what the game is trying to be. That said, I want to get this out of the way. I did not see any signs of a store where you can buy stuff for real money or any battle passes or anything like that. I'm not going to comment too much on it because I don't know if they tend to implement it later on. Everything seems to be set up so that they can do it, but I don't know, so I'm not going to comment on it. If they don't, thumbs up for them. But the biggest problem of the game is not the store. The problem is that what it is trying to be feels completely wrong for Serious Sam. This franchise has always been silly and ridiculous, of course, but underneath that humor, it still had this dark, violent, slightly unsettling edge. The monsters, they looked dangerous and horrendous. The environments, they had huge weight to them. The weapons, they felt powerful and fun. Shatterverse takes all of that and turns it into something that feels like a first-person Fortnite, a kid's game. Everything is bright, overly clean, cartoonish, and completely lacking any form of impact whatsoever. The hit feedback, it barely exists. The monsters, they no longer feel intimidating, and the whole thing feels closer to Fortnite than Serious Sam. And that just sucks so much. But let us rewind for a moment. What actually is Serious Sam Shatterverse? Well, my friends, it is a co-op roguelite first-person shooter that can be played completely solo, with no bots, or together with up to 4 players. The basic structure is extremely straightforward. Walk forward, kill a handful of enemies, move into the next area, kill another handful, fight a boss, enter a new biome, and repeat. That is it. There is nothing else to it. There are, however, 3 acts. But there does not seem to be one clear campaign path. If you use quick play, the game simply throws you into different areas, even when playing solo. You might begin in the frozen biome during one run and Egypt during the next. And yeah, sure, that could definitely work in a stronger roguelite, but the actual gameplay here is so bare bones that it becomes repetitive almost immediately. There are no meaningful co-op mechanics, you're not coordinating abilities, solving problems together, or filling specific roles. Nothing like that. You are simply 4 people standing in the same room shooting the same enemies. But how can it be that we could be up to 5 different Sams standing in the same room? Well, the story is that Mental has fractured the walls between universes, so different versions of Sam must work together to repair the Shatterverse. And yeah, sure, on paper that sounds pretty cool, I'm down for it. But in practice, it gives us Retro Sam, Cartoon Sam, Girl Sam, and several other alternative versions that all feel like jokes somebody forgot to make funny. That's how bad they are. And don't even get me started on the dialogue and the one-liners in this game. Holy crap, they are so bad. They look awful, they sound awful, and rather than celebrating Serious Sam, the game almost feels like it is ridiculing the franchise. Now, to properly explain what I mean, let us quickly look at Serious Sam's Siberian Mayhem. Watch the visuals, listen to the weapons, hear the music, look at the enemies and the atmosphere. Enjoy. let's compare that to the visuals, weapons, music, enemies, and atmosphere of Serious Sam Shatterverse.
Easier to shoot and to smell. Oh, I'm so awesome!
Do you see what I mean here? Siberian Mayhem is older, yet it looks better, it sounds better, it feels heavier and has far more personality. Its enemies actually look threatening. Shatterverse looks like somebody took Serious Sam, removed all the grit, softened every edge and rebuilt it for an audience that never asked for it. And I am getting extremely tired of this happening. Companies keep taking beloved single-player franchises and turning them into generic co-op shooters or just generic games all around with shallow progression, questionable replay value, and then the game releases. Nobody plays it, the numbers are terrible, and the franchise disappears because apparently people no longer care about it. But that is so wrong. People cared about what the franchise originally was. The bosses in Shatterverse are worse than those in previous games. The perk system is weaker than the upgrades we have already seen in regular Serious Sam campaigns, and the roguelite helmets barely add anything. You unlock weapons permanently, and once you have them, that is basically it. During a run, you can find higher tier versions and pick up perks, but the upgrades available in the playtest are painfully boring. Yeah, sure, maybe the full game will go much crazier with them. It absolutely needs to do that, because right now, there is not enough here. We have seen this exact formula so many times before: shallow co-op gameplay, basic roguelike progression, and a recognizable franchise attached to it. Then everybody acts surprised when it fails. The gameplay is bland, the progression is bland, the presentation is bland, and nothing about it feels new, exciting, or particularly Serious Sam, which is why it's going to flop, and yes, I am genuinely angry about it. You do not often see extremely negative videos on this channel, and I apologize for the amount of heat coming out of me today, but sometimes you have to ventilate a little bit. Of course, if you played the playtest and enjoyed it, that is completely fine, I'm not angry at you. These are just my opinions on it, and I'm always right. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, for me, seeing another beloved boomer shooter franchise transformed into a generic co-op roguelite is just sad. Or just a generic game in general. Keep the magic. It shouldn't be that hard. But as always, when I do post a negative video like this, I truly hope that I am wrong and that the full game is just gonna blow all our minds, even though I doubt it. But based on this playtest, yeah, this is how I'm feeling. And I do not see this game blowing any minds whatsoever. Broskis, I will see you in the next one. Over and out.